How about today's news? Old news, it was already mentioned a few days ago, I think since last week. Over there, the Warner Brothers account, Home Entertainment, which is an account that really rarely comes out to make these kinds of posts. But both on Instagram and Twitter, they posted a picture of a script there. They announced what their animated projects were going to be for 2024. But they didn't say if it was going to be a movie, if it was going to be a series. They didn't say anything. They left the audience in suspense. Today, at San Diego Comic-Con, Detective Comics confirmed 2 animated movies for 2024. The first one is Justice League, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Finally, man, finally. Look at that. I'm both happy and scared, which most people will understand. We'll discuss it soon. Now, the second animated Detective Comics project for 2024 is going to be Watchmen. A lot of people have already started thinking about Doomsday Clock, about the Watchmen crossover with Detective Comics, well, with the traditional Detective Comics superhero universe. Honestly, I don't think the Watchmen will show up to defeat the Anti-Monitor or anything like that. All of this that we've been talking about for some years now on the channel, about the Anti-Monitor, the Crisis, that Constantine Pariah, however you wanna call him, the losers thing, the Kamandi thing, they're not really leaks. I share ideas with you. If they happen, great. If not, that's fine. When did Tom Horvath start with the Man of Tomorrow? Well, we didn't have any kind of sign there. And it wasn't until Justice Society, the second movie of this universe, that they started dropping some hints. What could reveal this future that is now confirmed today? It's going to happen next year. No, I didn't ruin the surprise for you. You ruined it yourselves by listening to me. Yes, it makes me happy, man, because it's something I've been waiting for a long time. For years. But I agree with what they're saying in the chat. It's too soon, man. It's too soon. Look, we had 16 movies in the previous universe, and still, it ended badly. The universe was rushed and ended badly. There was no character development, there were no introductions or farewells for other characters. The Tomorrowverse is hosting its first major event in under half the usual time. We still haven't seen the Justice League United. It will barely be 4 years when the crisis begins, and that worries me, because we haven't seen the League just formed, and it seems to me that in Warworld, the next movie that's coming out in less than a week, the full lineup of the Justice League doesn't appear either, as we were expecting, which is a bit, well, unfortunate, because it's titled Justice League, but you're not going to show me the Justice League. So that already bothers me a little. What will happen after Crisis? That's the question, my friend. That's the question, Roman. Over there, in the comments, it's like they're already assuming this is the end of the universe, as if it's going to be rebooted, or if we're going to see another universe. After this, there's one thing to keep in mind. Everyone talks about the Crisis and how it's the big event and things like that. Let's be honest, most people honestly haven't read that story. They know it's an important event and things like that, but to be frank, most of the people I know who talk about this have never actually read the Crisis story on Infinite Earths. They really don't know what happens or what it was for. So it's no big deal. That's what we're going to talk about today, starting with the fact that the Crisis itself is not an ending, it's not a flashpoint. The purpose of the Crisis on Infinite Earths was to eliminate the concept of the multiverse and have exactly what Dylan says, a restructuring, uniting all the multiverses into one. It turns out that the heroes wake up on Earth as if nothing happened, all mixed together on a single Earth. For example, in Crisis on Infinite Earths, a grey-haired Superman appears, and after the first battle, wakes up on the original Superman's Earth. They discover several characters from other Earths are also there. Some remember events, while others do not. So it wasn't necessarily an ending, but rather the beginning of a new conflict. Returning to the multiverse, as Sergio Rodriguez later mentions, Superboy Prime arrived and created 52 new Earths, forming another multiverse. It's a bit concerning that this animated Crisis on Infinite Earths isn't telling us that it's part 1 of a saga. The rumors that have been circulating for a week or two said that we were going to get an announcement about a trilogy. But we don't have a part 1 for this movie, there's no part 1, it doesn't say anything about that anywhere. However, it could still be the beginning of a saga. I'm just a bit disappointed, what do you think? And a lot of people were also saying that it was probably a strategy to put an end to this animated universe once and for all. Because James Gunn had said that in the future? He wanted everything to be connected. Live action series, movies, whatever you want, video games, comics. He wanted everything to be connected, to make more sense. However, I don't really believe this because some time ago I was also tagged in some replies where they asked him this directly, if he was going to finish Tom Horbert's and things like that to help refine the vision he developed with Peter Safran. And he said no. He mentioned that for now, both his universe and Tom Horbert's were going to continue in parallel. If they eventually had to come together, it would happen. This has been planned for a long time. And that's the proof. In movies like Green Lantern Beware My Power, which came out before the announcement of James Gunn as the new visionary, and we already had the full Justice League. We already had Parallax, Jon Stewart, Vixen, and Earth 1 Wonder Woman. So, has this crisis already been planned? I think since Tom Horowitz started with The Man of Tomorrow, since rush jumps have happened before James Gunn. I don't really believe that now they want to end the universe because he came in as a new visionary and because he wants to unite everything into one. I mean, for everything to be connected, that's one thing, and the other. As mentioned, Crisis on Infinite Earths isn't a full reboot, but the start of a new conflict. Actually, I know many still don't believe me, but you'll remember me. If Constantine doesn't show up in Warworld, I assure you he'll appear in this first Crisis of 2024. You'll see. Honestly, I don't really care if the new 52 universe comes back to life, because for me, it's already over. I don't care, but it is. It's important to point out that Constantine is still a loose end. Constantine is still a loose end from that old universe. He's the Drifter in Green Lantern. Don't believe me, but you'll see. You'll remember me every time you see Constantine. You'll remember that I told you and you didn't believe me. They called me crazy, old man, but time will prove me right. Well, I think in the first part, if they actually do the crossover with these animated series, it would be excellent. If not, then it will be the multiverse that the Tomorrowverse has been creating, with the Justice Society and probably with the Losers. Because we don't know if these animated shorts, not with Blue Beetle, it's unclear if Blue Beetle is part of the Tomorrowverse since it ends strangely. I think in the first part, it would basically be this. The fight against the Anti-Monitor and the heroes are going to lose. The multiverse is going to disappear and they're going to leave the Earth, the multiverse, as a single Earth, like a main Earth. Would it be something more or less like Infinity War? The heroes will lose, the Anti-Monitor fight ends, and heroes from other Earths will wake up on one Earth and everything will be mixed up. Some will remember past lives, others won't. They'll try to find the Anti-Monitor for a rematch and similar things. I think that would be the conclusion, perhaps Supergirl's death and the elimination of the multiverse. The second part makes more sense to me as just a two-part saga, but we'll see. I think it would be the rematch against the Anti-Monitor and the heroes, looking for a way to bring back the infinite multiverse, so everyone can return where they belong. That's just my view, but these are only unproven ideas, and the second part, could this mean the end of Flash? I do think he's going to die. Anyway, like I said, that's how I see it, but don't take my word for it yet, because honestly, nothing is really known about these movies yet.